Hi, my name's Aidan Dipple and I'm the founder and director of Kashikoi. Today I'm going to do a very quick walkthrough of Viewdu and what problem it solves. I've been a software engineer and an architect for over 30 years, and I've designed this solution to address pain points in software development that still have not been fixed. So Viewdu is a methodology as a service. What does that mean? If you're not familiar with this cloud service pyramid, just push pause and quickly check up on that. In 25 words or less, the infrastructure layer is the nuts and bolts and like the operating system and installable software. The platform layer is the productized version of that infrastructure, so you don't need a heap of system admins. And the top software layer is what you serve up to users. It's an understatement to say this ecosystem is extremely broad and complex. What's missing is the methodology layer, which is basically what you get a solution architect in to design for you. How you are going to use this system to build your software platform. If you've never built software, then you're in for a shock at the cost. You'll be up for about $200,000 and a year of lead time to design and build a complete reference architecture on this to get you up and running. And that's before you start building your solution into it. I'm not going to bring SOC 2 certification or pen testing costs into this because that just makes it even more expensive. If you don't get this right the first time, then you've also blown all of the cash that you've spent on that development and you need to start again. So Viewdu as a methodology provides you with this reference architecture. Viewdu and the features built with it are deployed to Microsoft's cloud, including Azure, DevOps, and GitHub. The Viewdu stub uses Angular for the client and consumption-based Azure functions for the server side. It provides a full cradle-to-the-grave automated deployment using Bicep and PowerShell, allowing you to add additional resources that you particularly need. The Viewdu libraries handle all of the common SaaS patterns, including authentication, paywalls, license, user management, and system health. To be successful in software development, you're always looking to build with as little code as you can get away with. If you're familiar with the Azure Power Platform and Power Apps product, you can be forgiven for thinking that Viewdu is reinventing the wheel. As a software engineer, I find those products just don't provide the freedom or power that I expect and that I can get when developing full stack solutions. It also means you can take advantage of AI development tools such as Copilot that integrate with your development environments. The bottom line is that if you're a startup founder, if you have a low-code, no-code solution, then you don't really have any IP that you can raise capital for. If you're building an enterprise solution, you might not want to have the commercial in confidence features that you have stored in the cloud. You want them in your source code in your repository. When you build with Viewdu, you have your own source code in your own GitHub account. You deploy your product onto your Azure tenancy and your resources. Using the Viewdu libraries, you only build components specific to your product. This includes inbuilt paywalls, building multi-tenanted SaaS solutions, the Viewdu marketplace, and deploying your solution to the Azure marketplace. Now quickly, in the context of eating our own dog food, Viewdu is built using Viewdu. Through this quick demo I'm about to do, you'll see that the Viewdu portal looks the same as the Kashikoi company site I'm building and our Prodigal product. This is intentional to help illustrate the patterns I'm presenting. Okay, so this walkthrough is only going to focus on the big themes of Viewdu. So I'm not going to go here into the real-time health monitoring of each of your products. I'm not going to go into how you configure subscriptions for your products. I'm not going to go into how you do your user and license management, how you monitor your revenue and user growth, etc. We're going to focus on products and features. So as I mentioned, Viewdu is built with Viewdu. So it's listed as one of the products we provide. Viewdu is made up of features. You add your features either from ones that you have built previously. You might be keeping them private, or you might have listed them on the market like other creators. So you're able to select from any of your features that you've built and add to any number of your own products. Similarly, you can search the market for ones that have been made available by other creators and include them into your solution, where those creators will charge you as an apportionment of your subscription cost to users. Now, if we have a look at the Viewdu product, we can see that the different features here are navigable through the feature list. Now, each of these features are micro apps. They all are installed on their own mutually exclusive Azure resource and resource groups. That means a whole bunch for cybersecurity and scalability, but we're not going there today. Now, similarly, those features, if we have a look, are made up of routes. So this is where, when you create your features, so for example, the Viewdu feature, it's made up of a series of routes that will be presented then in your left sidebar navigation for user navigation. Again, we're not going to go into authorization and how you can specify access to these at different subscription tiers. But what it means is when you go to publish your feature, that process will take a copy of the Viewdu stub. It will configure it specific to what you've set up as your feature configuration. It will create a Git repo for both the server and client components and the infrastructure as code, and it will check that into your own GitHub account. That's how you get to work on your IP and keep it separate. The process also creates a DevOps project and a pipeline and the appropriate and required variables in there for automatically creating the infrastructure within Azure that your feature will require, as well as deploying your feature on it. So this really simplifies and speeds up getting your full stack proper code solution up and running, and you can do that within an hour. Now, out of the box, Viewdu stub uses about $100 per month of Azure resources, which is pretty cheap, and which is why I run dev instances as well as prod instances for everything. Now, that's a pretty cheap environment. You can scale that up to unicorn type site sizes as you require. The process, when it's complete, will spin up a Viewdu stub shell that you then can brand, changing and putting in your logos, and that you can configure and build your components. So you can see here, this route for data room hasn't had a component built for it yet, and that's how you now have full power to build the type of forms and controls and user interface components that you want. Now, it does include those reusable components, given that it uses the core Viewdu feature in all products, and that means that you've got a lot of out-of-the-box features that you don't have to build, including your user and license management. Now again, if you've watched the Progil walkthrough, you will be familiar with this process, including, say, for example, submitting projects. And here you can see the tree, which is part of the feature set provided by the work form feature. You can drop that in very quickly and have powerful user interfaces immediately available. Now, again, the peer-to-peer component, the pattern in the stub enables you to integrate with other people's features seamlessly, and where you have correctly annotated your endpoints with Swagger, the build process automatically builds your open API documentation so other systems can easily be integrated with yours. So thanks for watching, and remember, whether you're building in-house enterprise solutions or are a startup, when you've done with your wireframes and are ready to build, use Viewdu. Faster time to market, minus the technical debt, and cut the burn rate.